So I decided to start recording a little bit of question and answers regarding my writing. So one of the first questions that I get asked a lot is what inspired me to write my book? So this is something I go over in the introduction, but what inspired me, I always consider it to be like a magical process, so to speak. It definitely felt like something that was just waiting to come out. Um, I was in fiction writing while I was earning my master's degree in writing. And I was instructed to create a story based on a setting. So where the setting was like a main character, so to speak. And I didn't know what I was going to write at first, but then I just had a moment. I'm pretty sure like even, it's funny, I can't really recall the actual moment, but um it's crazy. I wrote about this in my novel, and it's amazing how having let that go and having already published it, um, having already published it, I've almost forgotten many things. That book was a huge task for me to write about some of the things that I had gone through. And The Garden of Earthly Delights was a painting that had been shown to me in another class in that same semester. So I was taking editing, layout, and design. And there was just a moment when I just knew that that was going to be my setting. Now, when I first saw the painting, I was initially called to the Adam character in the left panel. However, I got all these visions, and none of those visions were in the painting. So it didn't really make sense to me why those visions were there. And I kind of wondered if those visions had a place in the story. But then I looked at the center panel, and all I saw was sex at that time. And I had no idea how I would even begin to write from Adam's point of view. So there was another character, a female character, who was staring dreamily into the face of a guy that had a blueberry forehead. And I knew that that was my character. Her face was actually the most defined face of all the faces in the painting. And I loved her super long, wavy blondish hair. And it's kind of like a light brownish blonde, dirty blonde. Um, and I wrote a scene, and it just flowed through me. What ended up happening was that character served as an avatar for me to confront some heavy hitting topics in my life, like my sexuality and certain traumas that I had experienced growing up. Not that I'm so grown, but but yeah, definitely in the last 15 years or so. And so it was amazing how pieces of me began to reveal themselves as I was writing. And it really all happened as I started to learn more about the painting. I really wanted to focus on the setting, because my assignment was to make the setting a main character. So as I began to learn more about the setting and putting more details from the actual setting, more and more about myself was revealed, and it was interesting to see how this character, as a product of this environment, behaved a certain way. And that's actually one of the things that I touch on in the Falling into Fire version versus the version that was in my fiction writing class, then turned into my thesis. So this third version says a lot more about our environment as something that heavily influences us. So really, I was inspired by the painting after having been prompted, and I am so grateful to have been prompted by my fiction writing professor, and then just watching it grow as it's evolved into each version.